Ooh, we got gold. 1 year in the making, and we have got gold. Look at that. There's heaps of gold in that. That's the first half scoop. What's up guys, Chris here from Vo-Gus Prospecting. If you're new to the channel, a big warm welcome. It's great to see your smiling face. And if you're an old returning moldy hat like the one I'm wearing, welcome back, baby. Today, Grizzly and I are out sugar bagging. It originates from the 1800s in the gold rush days when they didn't have enough water to process their dirt during the dry seasons. But today I'm using it in context of I might get quarantined and need something to do. Now I found this spot only a couple of days ago and I thought, geez, this is pretty good. I should come back here with some proper crevice tools because at the time I had a pick and that was it. Let me show you the spot. Then we're going to start collecting that dirt. I creviced this out with a pick in my hands and whatnot, and I found some really decent shows of colour. So my aim is to take the dirt from in and around here, along this crack here, and any other little horizontal cracks that I find in this area I'll clean out and put in these buckets. Oh, trying to get these root balls out in one. It's just like couch grass you'd have growing on your lawn. So it's got really, really strong roots. This is why you have heaps of different tools. I've got a rock stuck just here, then right here it goes down heaps more and I can't get it out. So, I'll see if I can persuade it. Yeah! I turned that rock to powder. Catch. If you're new to the channel and you're not 100% sure what crevicing is, it's literally about breaking open bedrock cracks that trap gold just like a sluice would. Been slowly but surely chipping away at this crevice. We've only done a little section. We've done from right where Grizzly's standing up till about there. I put a really nice cut in the end of my finger that stings like hell. I was going to classify all this, but I don't want to have to wet classify and whatnot. I need something to do at home. Figure I could do it there. Wash the rocks really thorough. So I'm taking everything. So I'm 99.999% sure you're not going to be able to see this, but that is a tiny, tiny piece of gold sitting in the bottom of the crevice. That's why you got to get a brush and get every last little thing out because it just sits there. Doing a good job there, buddy. Good job. This crack is now mostly clean, mostly. Be cleaner if we all had some toilet paper. So we're going to move on from this. Now this crack, as you can see, is fairly long and in places it is super deep. So there's a couple of pinch points in there that I can't actually get the dirt out of. I can loosen it up, I can move it around, but I can't shift it to anywhere along here that I can get it out. So we're going to move on to this one here. So this is brand new, fresh, have not touched it at all. Easy as, Grizz. Easy as. This whole crack is now as clean as I can get it without a yabby pump. But I still had room in my bucket, and I want to show you something that a lot of people don't know about. This little divot right here had a lot of gravel in it. You can see some of these sort of gravels here. Now we've got a nice sharp edge, a little bit of an undercut. There's no crevice or anything here, and it was just big enough to trap some gravels. And then as you come back down the slope, we get into these sands and whatnot. And this stuff never gets worked, and it almost always has a little bit of gold. If you're on an area of smooth bedrock like this with very little to no gravel on it whatsoever, anywhere there is gravel was a low pressure system catching something, which means it's the only place things could drop out, including gold. It's done all the work for you. It's removed every single skerrick of gravel and only left you with the concentrates. Goose, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. Got Grizzly the Wonder Hound protecting my sweet sugar bag dirt. Good job, Grizzly. It's time to take my sweet sugar bag dirt home. So I guess the next time you see me, I'm either going to be in quarantine or really bored. Like, I don't know. I probably won't be able to restrain myself from panning this dirt before then, but then things are moving quickly. We'll see. We'll find out, won't we? I filmed that clip with Grizzly back in January, just as the pandemic was starting to creep into Australia in a big way, and we were looking at long-term lockdowns. And so I thought, sugar bagging some dirt for a potential long lockdown, so I had something to do, and a video would be a good idea. What I didn't know, or what I wasn't expecting, was to be finishing this video almost a year later without him. So this dirt is literally representative of the last piece of prospecting that I get to do with my boy. And that is really hard. I didn't think I'd be this emotional about it. So we're going to take this slow and we're going to do it right. I'm going to be using the classification system that you get in the XP panning kits. Some really cool features about this is that you get two classifying systems. So this is a 1/4 inch, I believe, and that's an 1/8 inch. And the classifiers lock into each other with a sizable gap between them, which allows you to simultaneously classify down to two different sizes. These two rocks are from a mine that I've got to crush up, so we can put them over with the other rocks from mines that I have to crush up. Check out this for a piece of geology. And I guess we'll just get going. We're not getting too much of the plus 1/4 inch, but we are getting a heap of -1/8 inch, which means that we're going to have to lift this up and put it into a bucket because the pan underneath, that's full. I'm going to classify this down even further into minus kitchen strainer simply because I know the gold from this creek in Reedy Creek is extremely fine. These weeds I'm just going to put straight into the kitchen strainer and get the dirt out of them. Now we have our plus 1/4 inch, minus 1/4 inch, plus kitchen strainer, and minus kitchen strainer sizes. There is almost no point even looking in this. Maybe a gemstone or something that you'll see. Usually they'll stand out during classification. I haven't seen anything, so we're just going to literally leave this. I've seen 2 or 3 nuggets in the last 5 years come off Reedy Creek this size. Again, we would have to be extraordinarily lucky to get something like that. So I'm going to save this for a later day. I don't think there's going to be anything in there. In the plus kitchen strainer size, there is actually a small chance we might get something. I found enough pieces this big to warrant going through this. So we're going to pan this down. And the majority of our gold is going to be in the last bucket, the minus kitchen strainer. Reedy Creek has a lot of tin oxide in it, which is a fantastic indicator for finding gold, but it's non-magnetic and an absolute mother to pan through. So this might take me some time. We're going to start with the smaller stuff. And I only kind of want to do a half scoop at a time. Oh, right, that should be better. Well, first pan, I can start to see some gold down here in the bottom corner. Always a good sign. Ooh, we got gold. 1 year in the making, and we have got gold. Look at that. There's heaps of gold in that. That's the first half scoop. 1/2 scoop of this crevice dirt a year later. That's unreal. Bloody hell, Grizzly must be looking down. You know, I don't mind panning in murky, muddy water. I do that all the time. But water that has a whole lot of floating stuff in it is always a nightmare. So we're going to get rid of that as best I can. Alright, much better. Ooh, there we go. That's another good pan. For just crevicing and not having done any test pans on it, this is a real good pan. Look at that. Be 50 bits of gold in that pan. About halfway through the minus kitchen strainer bucket, and this is what we're getting roughly every single pan. You can see that super coarse tin and how fine the gold is, and that's what makes this stuff so difficult to pan. That's why reduction is important. After about 8 pans worth of dirt, or 8 scoops worth of dirt, we're down to the very last of the minus kitchen strainer dirt. This is where I fully suspect in this bucket we've found most of our gold. You never know, I'm hoping for the best that there'll be some bigger bits, but let's see what was in the final minus kitchen strainer. See some nice looking gold coming out now. And there we go, that's the last of the minus kitchen strainer. So now we're on to the bigger stuff. The plus kitchen strainer has a lot of organics in it, so I'm going to actually try and just float them out so I can scoop them up before we start. There we go, it looks way cleaner. Because we removed most of the fine gold on the first run, it's actually a lot easier to run the big stuff at larger rates. So instead of doing like 1/2 scoop, I'm actually going to do 3 or 4 full scoops in every pan. And I am fully not expecting to find anything in here. First pan, we got absolutely nothing. After all that, I found 4 shotgun pellets, 1 extremely flat one, and just a little bit more flour gold. Not much. But for now, we're just going to empty the snuffer bottle and see what we got out of our bucket. Oh, look at that. That's a pretty good take for 1 crevice. I'm stoked. Like, it's an absolute tribute to my boy. Whew. This has been one of the hardest cleanups of my life, and this gold to me is priceless. Right before we weigh out the gold from that epic little crevice, I wanted to mention one thing. Today would have been Grizzly's 5th birthday, but unfortunately Grizzly was killed by the misuse of 1080 poison designed to kill wild foxes, dogs, cats, goats, pigs and rabbits here in Australia. But the misuse is not the problem. The use of this poison and poisons similar, such as strychnine, in the first place is the issue. Pest animals such as foxes are decimating Australian wildlife. However, no animal deserves to die in the manner which Grizzly died.
I want to open a dialogue with the people who can change these laws to ban the use of 1080 and, just as importantly, empower recreational hunters so we can manage both the poison and pest species issues at the same time. I'm not calling for radical change, I'm calling for a little humanity, a clean death for the animals who are out of place in our land, and the safety of the animals who play such a big part in our lives. The mark of a society is how it treats its most vulnerable. Animals are amongst the most vulnerable living beings on this planet.
This is the last gold I panned with Grizzly next to a Clash Guitars pick and the horse I stole off Gandalf for a bit of scale. But now we've got to get this on the scales. I'm going to guess about a fifth of a gram, that's about a 0.2. .22, that's the closest I think I've ever been on a guess. At today's gold prices, 0.22 of a gram is worth $18.24 Australian. Sugar bagging is an incredibly effective way of getting gold when you can't get out to the creek. So when you do go out, if you do see some crevices and whatnot that you don't quite have enough time to work, but probably enough time to scrape them out and throw them in a bucket, do it. Take it home, and then in the winter, or when you've got a cold, or when you just can't make it out to the creek, you'll have some dirt to pan. And you never know what's going to happen in your life, so I was very honoured to be able to do that bucket of dirt on Grizzly's birthday. Today would have been his 5th, so a big happy birthday to my big beautiful boy, Grizzly. I still have my current competition on until the beginning of December. That is linked in the description of my YouTube video. It's where you can win a brand new XP panning kit worth over 110 Australian dollars. I'm going to ship it free to someone anywhere in the world. I hope you enjoyed this adventure. If you like this one, chances are you'll like many of the other videos that I have up on my YouTube channel and Facebook page. So please consider hitting the subscribe button on YouTube or the like button on Facebook. So until next time guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like that smash button. Give this video a share with your mates to spread the gold fever. Your dog a big delicious scratch behind the ears for me. Peace, close eyes, and I'm out.